Extra, how's it going on this Monday? It's cold outside, but it is going to be sunny and 60 degrees later today. That is the good news. We are talking about kids' allowances. And how much do you give them? Do they have to finish a checklist of chores before they get the money? Should they just do the chores anyway and you don't give them an allowance? How much do you give? I want to know. Rod said he got a quarter a week back in 1902.
No, now. That was big time back in the day.
We have all kinds of ranges here. You got someone who's, I don't think you're giving your 2-year-old an allowance yet for any reason.
No,
right?
I don't have to deal with this
You
yet.
raised 2 children. They are
Yes.
now both in adult status, so I don't know what your allowance system was.
We were never really consistent with it. I mean, we did sometimes, and sometimes we didn't. Don't follow my rules.
Right.
We were kind of all over the place with it.
And we don't have, I mean, I guess we do have a set system. We don't give it. But it's not like we didn't sit down and go, you know what, Mia? We're not giving the allowance to the kids.
It just really hasn't.
Haven't happened. I think they've asked a couple times, and I would say, for what? Like, what are you getting an allowance for? And they said, because we
Do
need
they
money.
say so-and-so gets an allowance? Is that like their friends get them?
Yeah, but it's weird because they don't, like you said, you know, they don't have to do a lot around our house. They should probably be doing more, but they do help out with the chores now and again. They have to clean their bathroom. They have to make their bed. I don't make their bed. Is that even a chore? But they have to make their bed every day. Like Mia makes sure they do that before they leave for school. Last night she had one of them Swiffering the kitchen floor, one had a vacuum. But again, these are things, it's like, hey, we have to do these things, so why don't you help out?
Yes.
Not like do this and get paid.
Right.
That seems weird to me.
No, I think you're onto something.
I don't know what would bring about an allowance, but here's the other thing.
Scoot over.
If they need something, they ask for it and typically get it, right? It's not like they're like, geez, I don't have any shoes, I don't have any clothes.
No,
Like, those are all taken care of.
That's one of my
Buy
best
fun
memories
stuff.
of my dad when I was like a teenager, is him with his wallet out as I'm about ready to walk out the door. Do you have any money I could borrow? Borrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always the line.
Dad left a note saying, my daughter owes me $10,000.
So much more.
So let's get the viewers involved. If you have a system in place, I, for one, would love to hear about it because maybe we're not doing it right at the Carney house.
Priscilla is watching us from Japan. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, I guess it
15
would
hours earlier. When
be. Woo!
You know, I've heard
I
that
don't
the
know. I don't
Sunrise
do
Extra
that.
program, when viewing it from Japan, is spectacular. So hopefully you find that to be true this morning, Priscilla. We also have Shelly watching right now on Facebook. Good morning, Shelly Tanner. She says, my allowance was food and shelter. She's talking about her youth.
Yeah.
And, I didn't get an allowance either that I recall growing up. It was like, we helped out around the house when we could. When we needed something, my mom would take care of it if she could. But we didn't get a set payment every
I was
week or
such a
month.
scofflaw. I mean, honestly, I think at one point I negotiated $5 a week, which was a lot.
negotiated? Wow.
Well, I don't know, asked.
You're like, make a case, Brenda.
Yeah.
$5.
But I'm not certain I really earned that. I mean, honestly, they were pretty permissive.
My story's the best, though. We got a quarter a week.
I know, I was teasing
And on
you.
Fridays, I shared this on our TV show. We live just a block away from a little grocery store. So on Fridays, my brother and I would get our quarter and we would walk to the grocery store. And for 10 cents, we'd each get a popsicle. And then we had 15 cents left over to blow the rest of the week, which was spectacular.
This was like, what was this, 1935 or 6?
This would have been in Iowa in the 1960s.
Honestly, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah,
What-
I
Iowa
said
in the
1902.
Yeah.
that quarter today would be translated, in your opinion, to how much money? Like, just trying to get an idea of how ridiculous a quarter was.
I mean, it would be at least a dollar a day. Maybe it would be, I don't know. Would my parents today give us $5 a week? Maybe, I guess. We had a definite list of chores that included specific tasks. And usually Saturday, half of Saturday was chore day. We helped my mom, clean the house, and we had our things that we did, and Mom took care of basically what she knew we wouldn't do a
Did
good
you
job with.
complain about them? I hated chores
no,
when
not
I was
same.
young.
I don't know. I mean, I remember it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was something that was part of life.
Yeah,
So I
expected.
had to do that.
What were your chores?
I always had to wash the dishes,
Okay.
put away the dishes, help like with the cats, clean the cat boxes, feed the pets, and take the garbage out. And that was kind of. I mean, I kept my room clean.
I remember having to dust.
You did? Oh,
So
I
we had to
to
dust and
too.
run the vacuum. My mother would
Yeah.
wash the bathroom because she knew we wouldn't do a good job. So she would clean that up. But my brother and I had to dust and run the vacuum sweeper and sweep the floors.
Oh, Prince says my allowance was my paper route.
I saw that. That's a great comment.
Good.
Good morning, Prince. And
Good morning, Prince.
I love the name. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
that's funny.
We got a couple comments on Facebook. So we did like an earlier post this morning kind of asking what you guys should do. Dana Kurtz on Facebook says, chores and allowances should be separate. Children should do chores because they're part of the household and should be assisting in the upkeep of that. Allowance should be given to teach financial responsibility.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always thought about rewarding them, and this is the first year really, they're in middle school now, the first year where grades are really starting to appear, like they're getting graded,
Right.
and it's not just like, pass, fail, or good, not good.
Yeah.
And so I always thought like I would be willing to give them a little something for good report cards, right? Because I do want them to feel good about doing well at school,
I do
like
that.
kind of earn a little something. So we haven't had that first report card yet, but that's something they could potentially earn money from me for.
Sure, yeah.
In that
I did get extra, like, I got a few bucks, or $20 for an A,
Okay.
and so, boy, that was some good incentive.
bucks.
And then but then you would get like your own money, and I would ask my parents for everything in the store. Can I have this? Come on, Mom. But then it was my money, and my mom would say, use your money, you can buy it. I'd be like, oh, no.
I don't want it that badly.
I got to save it for something real good. And I was very particular about what you spent your own money. And then my mom would be like, well, see, you want me to just buy you everything else?
Yeah.
And it does.
It's
It
a good
teaches
lesson.
you the
yeah.
value.
Good lesson right there.
So we also have Richard Vargo on Facebook. He had a really good one. He has a 15-year-old daughter. He gives her a $50 a month allowance.
$50.
Yes, so expectation is she helps around the house when asked. Dishes, laundry, dog poo, watching her brother, keeping her room clean. We write her a physical check, and she has to take it to the bank to deposit at least 30% of it into her savings account, and
I
the
like
rest
that.
is hers
Yeah.
to spend or save. I think that's a great idea.
I like
is a
the
great idea.
percentage
You
of
open a savings
yeah.
account, and you kind of figure it out, but you learn checks, which I wonder how long those are going to be around.
It's
to
like,
actually
what is
deposit.
this paper thing?
I wrote one last night
Did
to the
you?
dentist's office.
Yeah.
I looked at the bill that came in the mail, and I thought, is there a place I can go online? And I was looking, I said, the heck with it. I can't find it. I'm just going to write out a check and send it in the mail. But that is rare now to write a check.
I was writing something out on a pad in a meeting, and it's so rare that I write anymore. You
Right,
type.
right.
That my hand was just, like it's so weird.
You're supposed to do it like this,
Right.
not like this.
I kind of like having a pen around to take notes with, though. That's a whole other topic, isn't
Make
it?
it work. Yeah, it was funny. What did you get as an allowance or any when you were a kid?
I got more work.
More work? Did
Do
you get
chores.
an allowance?
I did not get an allowance,
No.
but I did have a job early. I started with a paper route, and so I got my own job.
Yeah.
Did you have a list of weekly responsibilities, though? That's
Chores
your
around
job?
the home, yeah,
you
of
did
course.
have it.
Do the dishes, do this. You're helping at this
Yeah.
point. So we've already started Patrick on helping put away the dishes. He's 2.5.
Kids, you
He's-
can.
He likes
She
helping.
loves cleaning. Yeah.
Although unfortunately, right now it takes more time to let him help.
I know.
Than to actually get the job done, but I appreciate that he's doing it, and maybe that'll lead
habits.
to by the time he's 4 or 5 actually getting the job done.
Yeah.
Only
I use
plastic
that in the laundry
dishes?
room.
We let him do the real dishes.
Wow.
Really?
He hasn't broken one yet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yet.
He's able to. Yeah.
Take them out and hand them to you. I get her to
That's
transfer
good.
the laundry, and she loves doing that.
Oh, that's cute.
From the washer to the dryer.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, our boys are not good about the dishes. Like it's one thing to get them, take them off the table and put them. But we have not really made them rinse them
the
off and
table?
stick them into the dishwasher.
Oh,
but
do
that
it.
comes
Start
back to
it
a whole
today.
other thing. Do you stick your dishes in just dirty, or do you rinse them off and then stick them in
Oh,
the
that is a
dishwasher?
good.
I'm a rinser.
That is
I'm a rinser too.
I'm a rinser.
I
We're rinsers, and the boys don't
scrub 'em
rinse them
off.
well enough. Like it's like I stick them in the sink, get some water on them, but I'll finish the job and get them in the dishwasher.
Dishwashers are probably better now than they were like 20 years
Absolutely.
ago, but still.
They have like a little
takes on.
pre-rinse thing that you can actually cycle them through on some of them. I remember though the conversation that we had. You actually rearrange the dishwasher when Mia
Yes.
puts stuff in.
Yes.
And I do the same thing. It's
you're
not
trying to get
quite
more in?
right. Yes.
And it bothers me. I don't
doing
like
it wrong.
I don't like a dish to cover a dish. You don't want a dish pressed right up against another one, right? How does
not
that
gonna get clean.
How does that one underneath get clean?
I know.
We're off on a different tangent. And this has nothing to do with it either, but I thought of this when I was looking at Chris thinking, and your daughter's the same way, you're getting to that age. The greatest thing that, I'll say we, but really my wife, did was we had that garden at the house. And the kids being a part of that, planting the seeds, going out there and picking the fruits and vegetables, they became great vegetable and fruit eaters. And I know it's because of that thing. They took ownership ownership in that garden.
Love that.
I thought I would talk about something we do right after talking about something we do wrong. And it has nothing to do with the topic.
Positivity.
If you do one thing for your kids, I think that's a great one, to get them really into that idea of like growing the food, eating the food, and it's good food.
Yeah.
Patrick's
You're welcome.
like eating the raspberries off the bush. I mean, he's got that part down.
Yeah,
so.
no kidding. Okay, Chris, we want to talk about, you did a Driving Me Crazy segment today about that kind of crazy clover leaf at I-5 and Marine Drive. We're in the morning and at congestion time. Just the ramp to get on the freeway.
And the morning's not terrible. The morning can get pretty busy, but it's the afternoon commute. Trying to get onto I-5 North, right? You're trying to get onto a freeway that's barely moving. I mean, if you ever take that drive to Vancouver in the afternoon, you try to avoid it at all costs, right? Because it's creeping along. But what's creeping along even slower is the on-ramp from Marine Drive, because there are thousands of cars coming from both directions, from east and westbound, all trying to get onto I-5 North.
And we have your story just to show you guys, so let's roll that right now.
With the freeway clogged, Marine Drive lines up from the east and from the west. Thousands of cars crawl through this interchange during the afternoon commute, all vying for a parking spot on I-5.
From Portland Road, at times it backs up clear back there, and it might be a 45-minute to an hour wait just to get on the freeway.
And there's no limit to what some drivers will do to cheat that lineup. You've got the divers from the center lane.
At the last second, they'll stop, put their blinker on, hold up traffic to try and get over.
And crazy U-turns.
But as soon as they turn, if there's no traffic, the car will rip a U-turn over the little curb and then get on the northbound ramp.
And from the east, how about that shortcut?
I know it saves me about 15 minutes getting home.
That beat-up, rickety road known as North Pier 99th Street. You kind of feel like you have to do it, right?
Well, the line the other way is another 20 minutes longer. So it's a shortcut.
Westbound drivers use that to circle under the freeway and hop on I-5 North from the other side. That's if drivers coming the other direction are nice enough to let them in.
There might be 20 or 30 stacked up waiting to make that turn.
Westbound traffic has a clearly marked on-ramp, beyond which there are two big no right turn signs, because that ramp is for the eastbound traffic trying to get to I-5. For every car you see here making that illegal turn, it's one less car that can get on from the other direction. Car after car after car. What do you say about the people that make that turn over there?
I get pretty mad about it because I keep watching them. I can see 10 cars turn, and there's never cops around.
Portland police have done occasional stings. One in 2014 netted 48 citations in 90 minutes. And while we were out on this story, they did make a few stops. But the area is not considered a high crash corridor, so enforcement is not frequent. And when the cat's away, the mice will play. Each one backing up other drivers more and more. Steve's been making this commute for 30 years. It's so bad he drives miles out of his way to use a different I-5 on-ramp. And okay to you is like 45 minutes from the Fremont Bridge to the Interstate Bridge, and that's okay.
That's okay. Because you're moving a little bit.
If you're just moving somewhere instead of just sitting, like you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, if you're just stop and go, and the go is like you go 6 inches and then you stop, and then you go 6 inches. It feels like a scene from like Office Space.
I don't know the best way to tackle that. I love Mike Poteet, first person to chime in on our feed this morning. Thank you, Mike, for watching Sunrise Extra. He says, he quotes the story you just ran, Chris. He says, all vying for a parking spot on I-5. Come on, that is an awesome comment, and he's laughing.
That's what it is.
It's the reality.
Because I-5's moving at 5 miles an hour, right? But that's better than sitting on a 1 mile parking lot, basically from Portland Road to the Marine Drive on-ramp to I-5. It's brutal.
It makes me feel ill in my stomach thinking about that commute. Honestly, it does. I'm thinking about that person. That's almost like a form of torture. We're going to make you sit here and wait an hour. So you can get there.
It's roughly
guys, I've got to run. I'll be right back.
So he's got to do
no worries.
He's got to do traffic cut-ins on the radio.
It's speed. We're talking of a stretch that's no more than 7 miles. And if you hit it at the wrong time of the day, there are some exceptions, but often if you hit it right at 5 o'clock, it can literally take you an hour on a 7 mile stretch of I-5. To go 7 miles can take you an hour. Now this this Clover loop that Chris is talking about, and he's driving me crazy. I'm going to say, because I live in Vancouver, up until about 5 years ago, if you jumped on MLK to that Marine Drive Clover, it would save you some time. But somewhere in the last 5 years, that has become so backed up, as Chris just showed us, that's no longer an option. That's even now slower than just taking the hour to stay on I-5 to go 7 miles.
I feel like you could say that to some degree or another anywhere in Portland. It's like 7 days a week you run into heavy traffic. I'm like, what's everybody doing out here on a Sunday morning? Yeah.
And don't you find that there used to be workarounds and now those workarounds are just clogged up?
Yes,
too?
I totally agree with what you're saying. You can't find any relief.
They're talking about tolling stretches of I-5, of course, right? Jim Dickman watching us right now on the Facebook feed. Good morning, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Morning, Jim.
He's saying that things will only get worse when the tolling that they talk about gets implemented. So he's thinking that the solution they're talking about is actually going to be more of a problem.
Well, Jenny Carlson says people choose to live and work far apart. Just saying. Yeah.
But Jenny, just saying, do you want everybody to live on top of you? Are you suggesting everybody moves to your block and you put 10,000 people in your block? I mean, this is a big Portland metro area. We can't all live in the same block. That's not realistic thinking either.
But
it's not.
Mass transit and other alternative forms, everybody's in their own little car, and that's the problem. We're getting more people than the infrastructure can handle, and then everybody is in their own vehicle.
I think Max just running across the river with, it just makes so much sense. You'd come right downtown.
Right.
Well, and I think when they get a new bridge, I assume, they've always said that whatever they decide to build bridge-wise, that will include a max run. I will tell you, there are a lot of people that use the park and rides up in Clark County. Those park and ride lots, the ones I see, are full where people go and then they take the buses.
Not the C-Tran?
Yeah, for the most part, every single one of those lots I've ever seen, they're full during the day. A lot of people
would clamor for it, I think.
It is kind of nuts, right? You ever think about the fact that we have how many bridges downtown from Selwood to St. John's? I think it's 11.
But only two that connect our two largest communities.
11 to get across the city, 2 to get across the state.
Or I guess you could drive all the way up to the Lewis and Clark Bridge in Rainier if you wanted to do that.
But I would I've said this for years, I need to invest the time to Google this, because I would be curious. Is there another metro area in our country that has only 2 bridges to connect a community of 200-some thousand people? I think, isn't that what Clark County is? We're a good portion
the county?
Of those,
I'm sure there's
more than that. We're
half a million in Clark County, right? Yeah.
Commute into Portland. And I'm going to assume that there's probably not. Or if there is, there's 1 or 2 at most. It's very rare. If you just say it out loud. 2 ways to get across the Columbia River to one of our largest metro counties. It's nuts. Just say it out loud. It's crazy.
I'm going to let you say it out loud again.
That's crazy. 2 bridges.
Jenny Carlson had a reply here to our discussion. She's the one who mentioned that people who choose to live and work far apart are just dealing with.
By the way, let me say I love you, Jenny.
And well, she comes right back. She comes right back, Rod. She says she herself, she puts her, her actions to what she just described here. I changed my job to not drive. She said when it came to having to drive, she decided I'm not going to do that same job. And when I was in the city, she says she rode mass transit. So you actually changed her life routine in order to avoid that long commute.
Well, and I think a lot of people do that. I mean, in response to Jenny, I work off hours. Let me tell you, being on the highway at 3:30 in the morning on my shift is becoming an increasing perk. If I had to work 9 to 5, we would move to Oregon. I could not, if I had to do that. We would not live in Vancouver and do that commute. I don't know how people do it. It would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
People would drive me crazy.
So you got this from a viewer, right?
Yeah, so Michael Peterson was the one who we've talked to a couple times in that story. And by the way, we're going to push a lot more out from what Michael had to say on our web story coming up. We're working on getting that up at some point this morning. He's the one that reached out to me and said, we have contacted ODOT and PBOT and Portland Police because it's a multifaceted issue. I mean, you've got the lawbreakers, right, that are further backing up the commute, which we documented in the story. Yeah. And then you just have the fact that it's overcrowded and nobody can get on the dang freeway, and then the freeway's not. So there's a lot going on there, right? And he just said it leaves you with this awful feeling inside, though, that you can flat out see the people there that are making your day worse. Because you can see these people making this illegal turn.
I am one of those people that I will admit, when I find a workaround like that,
that's not a legal workaround. You're breaking the law to do it.
I probably would. I just feel smarter. I'm like, I figured it out.
I think we did a pretty good job of documenting it in the story, but the westbound traffic there on Marine Drive, they have their own ramp. It is clearly marked. This is your ramp, and that lineup is bad. There's no way around it. Their lineup is bad too,
So if
right?
you just pass it,
Yeah.
So if you pass it, you go past the ramp, there are signs that say, no right turn. You are cheating somebody else out of their parking spot to get onto the I-5 North. And for every car that does it, dozens of them, dozens and dozens and dozens, they back up the eastbound commute even more. So there you have it. It's a rat race.
Yeah, I mean, the way it is right now, I'm sure there is no solution. It's just reached the point where the capacity is just
It's too much.
beyond.
And so some of the workarounds, like the one pickup truck that we saw, like that guy or gal, I didn't identify the driver, but they're coming eastbound on Marine Drive, and they just shoot up the right lane and get on the ramp to I-5 South, and then hop over the median again. Because I mean, so you're forcing people into.
Yeah.
You're not forcing people to break the law, but you're certainly giving them incentive to break the law when you're not enforcing the law, and you're not fixing the backup that makes them say, you know what, I just can't sit in this 1 hour
Right,
lineup
and as
to go a
people
mile.
get more impatient, I mean, the chance of an accident or something bad happening very well could be. But I'm also thinking, do I want Portland police out there like throwing everything they can at a traffic problem?
Right,
Are there
that's a
more
waste.
pressing, dangerous issues that they
Because
should be?
there are problems like this all over town. We haven't gotten to all of them. There is a limitless opportunity to pick on intersections. This is a really, really bad one, but there's no doubt that there are more like this all over the area.
You did a great job, Chris, of shining the light on this particular problem. Is this story posted on our website right now?
It is. It should be. If it's not, it's going to be. And
Michael Rollins.
we are working on that.
Michael, do we have the Chris McGinnis Driving Me Crazy story posted on our website currently?
Soon. Coming soon.
Honestly, check it out later today when you have a break at work or at home. That was a terrific piece.
And this is an ongoing conversation.
let 'em know of any
and not
spots
only
or
about this piece, but anything that drives you crazy on the roads. Love getting even when there's just hey, when people can't park right in a parking spot. Those were kind of
like
funny.
that, yeah, take a
Well, we love to see those. So please share your ideas. This one again came from Michael Peterson, who spent some time with us to really diagram the problem, and I appreciate that, Michael, and have a look.
I was hoping to wrap up this conversation with one last viewer comment.
Okay.
Tyler, watching us on Facebook. Good morning, Tyler. Good
morning, Tyler.
All of our viewers here. He says, in reference to Back to the Future, the movie, Doc Brown just got back from the year 2040. The new proposed I-5 bridge, it's not still built yet.
Now I get it.
How about this?
We might do it in 2025.
I thought he was going to go like this. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need
roads.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, you guys, thanks for chatting with us in the newsroom. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.